So the plan was to make this video last year as a way to talk about the state of TTRPG content creation in 2023 and how stressful it had been. And instead, I ended up in hospital with the doctors worrying I was having a heart attack. And if that doesn't sum up the shitstorm that was making TTRPG content in 2023, I don't know what does. Greetings gamers, my name is Anto, and 2023 was such a stressful year that it nearly killed me. So today I thought it would be fun to look back at the year and talk about the future, because if we can't make light of our trauma, what can we do? So at the tail end of last year, I made a video saying I'm not dead after I'd taken a break for a while. So I guess really this video should be called But I Nearly Am, instead of 2023 nearly killed me, and view this as kind of a continuation of that update video. It's been a rough year, y'all, and I'm sick and tired of making videos where I talk about how crappy how crappy a time it has been just in the industry in general. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this is going to be the last video I make of that style for a good long while, and I'll talk about all that. And this is going to be a much more rambly video than usual. I don't have a script because scripting all of this out felt really weird, to be like, hey, I nearly died, let's script it. So you're just going to get a bunch of rambles. I've got some bullet points to talk about the how we got here, and let's dive into it. So I want to start this time a year ago with my first day back in work after the Christmas break in 2023. So over the Christmas period 2022, I had a real wicked infection. I got really poorly. I was off for a couple of weeks. I came back. Very first day I'm back, the Gizmodo article about the OGL stuff happens. Some of the most stressful times of my working life. 2 very stressful weeks of very little sleep before that was all resolved and the SRD went into Creative Commons. But everything was solved, right? And it seemed like a really crappy start to the year, but then I went on holiday and I was like, I'm sure it's just a blip in the year and the rest of the year will be fine. Little did I know that 2023 was going to be the year of just bonkers news with AI and news about incredible amounts of layoffs, and that's just inside Hasbro Wizards, never mind the wider TTRPG space. And after taking a period of time off in the summer, when I came back, something felt different, and something still feels different now. I feel like that tweet that has been so lambasted for saying the golden age of TTRPGs is dead. I don't think that is the case, but I do think that we are in a different era of TTRPGs now. I think something fundamentally changed last year, and while a move away from a D&D monolith into a lot of different other games is amazing, and that diversity of systems is great, I do think that there is a lot of negativity that has come with that. I've seen a sharp rise in the amount of just negativity in comments and discussions in general that I've seen throughout the last year, and it's really starting to get to me. I am a white guy, so I am about as privileged as you get on the internet, but even I have been getting exhausted by the negativity that's been seeping into my spaces through comments and the communities that I manage, and it's really starting to grind me down. Towards the tail end of 2023, I'd started making videos again, but I felt that something was different, something had changed. A lot of the spark of joy had kind of gone out of it, because I'd make a video, and almost every week, between the time I'd make a video and the time I'd put a video out, something would happen in the industry, be it another controversy over Wizards using AI, or them laying off 1,000 people, or some other company getting themselves into some situation. And it just feels like there is constant drama in the space right now. And as someone who makes their living in the space, making products for TTRPGs, making videos, talking about it, all of that, what felt like constant negativity had really started to seep into my mind. and really started to stress me out. And as we came to the end of the year, I thought I'd like to kind of put a hard line on the end of 2023. I want to make a video where I talk about just kind of the difficulties of the year and talk about the future and talk about how instead of focusing on these negative things, I want to focus on positive things. And I'd like to just bookend this negative year and move into 2024 in a really positive space. And the day that I was due to make that video, like I said in the intro, I ended up in hospital with a suspected heart attack. My heart rate was going absolutely bananas. My blood pressure was through the roof. I spent over 24 hours in A&E. It was a whole thing. And while I was sat there, because I had nothing else to do, my phone had died, my headphones had died, I had nothing but my thoughts, I realized something's got to change. And I don't think it's a coincidence that we've seen a lot of really prolific YouTubers across all spaces and genres on the platform in the last couple of months essentially quit or take major steps back. And every time I watch one of those videos, I'm like, is it time? Is it time to quit? And I don't think it is. Not yet. I think that a lot of my thoughts towards quitting, every time I watch one of those videos, like when I watch Tom Scott fly off into the sunset on the bottom of a helicopter, or when I watch Matt Pat talk about how he's just so excited to step back and do all of this other stuff. Every time I watch one of those, I'm like, eventually I'm going to have to do that because I can't do this forever. And I know what I want to do instead. What I want to do instead is books. You know, I have been super enjoying making content for SIDEQUEST and putting together physical products and getting those physical products into people's hands in the last couple of years. It is so satisfying and financially makes a lot more sense than YouTube. It brings more money in than YouTube. So YouTube has slowly become less and less of a part of my overall business anyway. But, you know, YouTube is where I kind of started in the TTRPG space. It's not where I started in the tabletop space as a whole. I started with miniatures before this, but YouTube kind of got me into the role-playing side of this space and gave me the platform that enabled me to do all of the books and stuff. So I don't want to leave YouTube just yet, but I'm finding myself thinking about it a lot more. Part of that, I think, comes from all of that negativity that was just around in 2023 and has been growing. And part of it comes from feeling a sense of obligation. Might not be the right word because I don't necessarily feel obligated to make any kind of content. But I think it's been a while since I've just made kind of videos that I really want to make and just talked about the stuff that I want to talk about and not at all thought about the analytics of things. And when I made that video talking about how I wasn't dead a few months ago and how the schedule would be changing, I was going to be making videos that I was interested in. Since then, I've made far fewer videos, and a lot of that is because of the general state of stress and then being off because I was ill and it being holidays and all of those things. But then another side of it is there still is that kind of worry about the analytics side of YouTube. YouTube is a really weird thing to make a living from because they, on the one hand, they're like, oh, just make videos for people and don't worry about the numbers and just make things that you love. But on the other hand, they're like, well, the numbers are everything. We're going to give you so many tools to monitor the numbers and monitor the numbers against your other videos. And heaven forbid your videos don't perform well. We're going to tell you. We're going to tell you exactly how badly it's performing. And I think that had really started to affect me, that chasing the 1 out of 10, the best performing of the last 10 videos in general. And for the last couple of videos that I did in 2023, I kind of disabled the ability for me to see all that. It still gets tracked, but I just don't see it. And I was much more satisfied with that. The videos performed much worse than they have for a couple of years, but I was much less bothered by it. And I think that's the approach that I want to take moving into 2024. I want to go back to simpler videos and kind of back to my roots kind of things. I want to make more map-based videos. I want to make more homebrew world-building content. And there's a whole bunch of products that I've been kind of collecting in the background that I am excited to try out, that I thought these would probably make good products to try out on video. There's a bunch of books that I'm excited to test out. Before, like 6 controversies ago, I actually got excited about the Deck of Many Things book from D&D and pre-ordered that, and then they had the whole production thing where the company that makes $1 billion making cards couldn't make cards, and they had to recall it all and redo all the cards. I've still not got that book, but eventually that book is going to come, and to be able to write it off as a business expense, I need to make a video about it. So I'll make a video about it because I was genuinely excited about that as the first 5th edition book that I've been excited about for a long time, and I want to see whether that book is actually useful to me now, so far removed from the last time that I was excited about 5th edition. I recently got the Shadow Dark book, which right there, Shadow Dark, right there. I want to make a video where I look through that and talk about my experiences looking through that. And I just want to make a bunch more content talking and getting excited about all the stuff that I'm making and showing you the stuff that's in the SIDEQUEST magazines and annuals. So this isn't me, quitting, but it is me saying now that the other elements of the Icarus machine are making enough money that YouTube does not need to bring me a lot of money in, I can just kind of do what I want with it and not have to worry about the numbers. And I think that this year I really want to try and actually not worry about those numbers. Another thing that I'm going to do moving forward is I don't want to cover news, and I don't want to cover anything even remotely related to drama. And that just comes from a personal health standpoint. That whole side of being a kind of content creator in this space has caused me so much stress I ended up in hospital. So I'm done with that. I wash my hands of it. There are far better sources for people to get their news, and when there are important things going on in the industry, I will share links to proper journalists who are covering that. It's something I've talked about with a bunch of other YouTubers. We've got a big group that we talk in, and I've talked about how I do not want to be fuel for the drama fire. That cycle of something happens, YouTubers pick it up, Reddit picks it up, it gets blown out of proportion, it gets worse and worse and worse. And I do not want to be a part of that. I just want to make videos talking about this hobby that we all love and leave the journalism to journalists. And then the other thing is live streaming. I would like to start live streaming again. We did some live streams here on YouTube at the tail end of 2023, and they were okay. I don't think they had the same kind of vibe that we got on Twitch. We had more people watching, but fewer people engaging and getting involved in the chat than we did when we were on Twitch. So if we go back to live streaming, we'll probably go back to doing it on Twitch because there is a better kind of engagement community there, and it's a little bit more separate to the YouTube thing. But I would like to do a little bit more live streaming because I did enjoy kind of that 6-8 months where we really intensely built out the Dual Cities campaign setting. That was a lot of fun, and getting back into that as just a way to connect to you all rather than just sitting here talking to the camera completely on my own would be really nice. So I don't know what the point of this video is other than last year nearly killed me, and this year I really want to just focus on, not dying, which is, I think, a really good goal to have in general when you're making New Year's resolutions. Not dying. Top of the list. The very last thing that I want to say is I want to get back into making more videos that you folks want to see. So down in the comments below, I'd love to hear what kind of videos that you'd like to see me make, and I will put them all in a list, and any of them that stick out and resonate to me or that I think are interesting, I will stick in a list for videos to make. And I'd like to try that for a while, just making videos based on what the people who are watching my videos actively want to see, rather than trying to magically scry out what is going to perform well, which is kind of what you just have to do on YouTube when you're doing it by the numbers game, which isn't what I want to do anymore. So I want to know what you want to see, and we'll figure it out from there. But I hope you've enjoyed. Enjoyed is definitely not the word for this. Thank you for listening to this ramble, and thank you for your continued support. If you want to support me even further, the best way to do that is through my Patreon, where you can get SIDEQUEST magazine, which is a monthly RPG magazine for D&D, Pathfinder 2nd edition and system neutral content. It comes out every single month and is packed with content for players and game masters. That is the absolute best way to support me and what I do and what I make in general, and I really appreciate everyone that supports me over there. There'll be a link down in the description below. But until next time, happy gaming.